Welcome to Late Night Reflections with Tristan, aka sometimes when you have a baby, you just don't get the chance to record things other than 9 something p.m., which technically isn't bad, but you have to remove yourself to a space like the confinement of your car in order to record something so you don't wake the baby. Anyway, welcome to day 3 of my video vlog and acting video vlog. And as I am doing my NASA screen acting course. Now, last week was really interesting. So day 3 of our course, we started off with again doing the synchronicity exercise, but this time not to music, but actually to an emotion. And I have to admit, I feel like I didn't quite get the exercise at first because I was with my partner, my scene partner, and I don't know whether it was because she hadn't done like the exercise the previous week, and we weren't that as in tune, but that's probably an excuse. So it's more I didn't quite understand the exercise. So whilst I was feeling an emotion, I feel it again. It was half disjointed. It was I didn't feel as present. I think I was what's the word? Preoccupied, I think. And not until Fern then came to me and actually got me to focus on the emotion that I was feeling right then and there, and used the example, the analogy of like as if you're now painting a picture with that emotion. That opened it up for me, and I felt like that kind of like really then allowed me to then actually paint a picture. And I then was like, okay, I understand now more, like what actually is intended to get from the exercise, and that freed me up and also brought me into the space more, and then from then it actually flowed quite well. And then when my scene partner did it, it was really good because you somehow you learn to follow the story, like their story, and there's actually like always a little pattern, I guess, that emerges, and your interpretation might be different, but it's really interesting how how that affects you, and then also what that, even by just imitating them, what emotions that brings up in you. And I thought that was really great to kind of like bring us in to the space, and just kind of like into our bodies as well. And then we went into our first scenes together, which was really, really cool. And it's always great to share some scenes with other people as well, because it's not about looking at theirs and judging them, but to actually just see how are they doing it differently. What are their choices, where are they coming from, because it always will be different. Like, you never can do this scene exactly the same way, and it's just so refreshing to then see someone else be that character as well, or deliver those same lines but in such a different way. And so it was great because I got to see our scene first, and already there, I was like, wow, like it just looks so different than what I interpreted it as. And that was really, really great. So then we eventually then got to do our scene, and from the previous scene, I kind of like also Fern had spoken about it, like think about where you're coming from and what has happened before, and like know about that. And but it was good to bring that up again, and I really then kind of like looked at the space, and I thought, what can I use that's there that will allow me to put myself like into the scene. And there were doors there, and in the scene the husband Frank comes in and sees his wife, and so I figured, well, I might as well do that. And yeah, and I just wanted to find something pre leading into the scene that was just very contrasting to how reading it I felt the mood was, so I just wanted to kind of like do something different that gets out the system, but then you can like swing into the other direction and see where it takes you. So I did that, and that was really really cool, because I kind of like had something that triggered me, that was like really like loud and laughing and energetic, and you come in and it's just like because I then had to obviously focus on my scene partner, and the wife is crying and upset, and it just like totally brought it down. I was just like, oh, okay, here we go. And long story short, like the scene went well, but I find it did, like I think the beginning was like strong, but then it dropped a bit too in and out, I think, because one thing like that I did notice was I felt that I was really focusing on my scene partner, and I was like taking in her eyes a lot, like just how did she actually look, and being conscious of that, and it was wonderful. It was really freeing not to be like, oh, what's my next line, just to be actually there and be like, what are you going to tell me here? I just gotta bring my stage lighting back on, and oh, maybe not. 2 seconds, let me open the door again. Hello, I'm back. And yeah, it was really really cool just to like just be there and really be present with your partner. And I didn't like put any thought to, this is how I'm going to play it, or I'm now going to be angry in this. And actually, I lie. I did have a preconception of like, this scene's gonna be, I'm gonna like have a go at her, and I'm gonna explode and yada yada, and somehow, yeah, it didn't go that way, because what she was giving me was different, and it ended up in, there's like the little bit where Frank, my character, then says, there's a few things I want to clear up, and he kind of like lists, number one, it's not my fault the play was lousy, and things like that. And I found myself like getting to the third point, and like I was shaking, and just really like I felt frustrated, and I felt like I had to like get my self control again, and I lost my line, but I didn't lose my line because like I didn't know it. It was more, I lost my line because like I felt a bit overwhelmed with the emotion in the moment, I'd say, and so I kind of like like I felt my hand shaking, and just had to like catch my breath and refocus, and bring myself back, because I guess yes, in an argument it does happen that you kind of like have to recollect yourself, but also in a scene, you kind of like have to bring yourself back and be like, okay, let's keep moving forward, because else the scene dies and you're just sitting there as like an emotional mess, and then that also doesn't serve the purpose. So you do have to have, I guess, that part consciousness that does bring you back. It's again that like that percentage that just kind of like then brings it back. Is like, okay, yep, there's an emotion coming on. Yep, that's cool. Let's hold that. Let's I guess work against that. And where do we have to go? What do I want to achieve? Like, why okay, I'm getting upset. Why am I upset? And I kind of like, um, again, like, focus on my scene partner, because it brings you back into reality, like you can get wallowed up into your emotion, be it sad or angry or whatever, and be like, ooh, all internal. But it's, it doesn't serve yourself or the scene, because there's always somebody else there. So then you sit next to each other until the person's emotions pass by, and then you're like, okay, can we now continue? It doesn't really help, does it? So I think, for me, because I often find it challenging, like I've said before, it's like, now I need to experience this emotion, now I need to get there and everything. There was something like, about this, that I just did it. I was like, oh well, let's just give it a go and see what happens. And it was great, because then the motion kind of like came with it, and it was there. Now my thing, like Fern then also said, she was like, yeah, okay, wasn't bad, but it's kind of like it stayed in the same area, and like there's, and I guess what it is like, what else can we try? What other tone can we give it that isn't your frustrated husband, blah, 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 all every line, so I that was really good this week, like just really not dissecting the script, but like, looking more actually what is being said and what's happening. And I'm really excited to, just take a different approach as well, and um, see, now that I've read the latter part, see where that takes us. But I'm still curious, because I don't know the play, or the film, whatever it is. I feel there's something that the husband and wife, like they have a problem, and it keeps coming up, like he talks about, these people, these damn people, and you were the only person in the play. And then, he says, should have never let you get involved. And then he said, let's talk about it. And then eventually, obviously, she says, you've got me in a trap. And so I'm like, what is it? There's something going on that they have to and want to talk about. And obviously, like in an argument, they're talking past each other. But yeah, like I'm trying to find a justification. Um, and I've for me, like, came up, I was like, maybe she's had an affair, maybe she's a thought came up that maybe if it's set at the time of, like, the 1960s or so, when you had the racial segregation, what if the cast was like solely black people, and his wife is the only white, and he's like, you were the only person in that play. It's like, what other inflection does it have? Like, these damn people. We have to live amongst these damn people. Like, wow, like that takes a totally different spin. And then, and what if he then just before found out that, maybe she had an affair, or she kissed one of them, and where does that then take them? So yeah, I'm just like, I think, like, yeah, I've been really been excited about the script, because I've been like, can't wait till Thursday, because I want to try something new, and see what happens, with the, like, my preparation, and then see what my scene partner brings, and see what, like, like Fern says, like, what cake can we make, but a good tasting one, hopefully, that's not made out of ooze and slime and bugs. So yeah, I'm really excited, and it's it's been great. It's been like, I've just, when you think a lot about it, when you like something else, like a different thing, and then you notice like little lines or little words, and it's like, wow, that actually can have a totally different meaning. Um, it's so wonderful, and like, again, like doing the Guskin exercise, it's just been so cool, because it does suddenly show you such a different inflection. It's like, the line, don't you think that's a little rude, April? when I reread it, I kept on thinking it was her wanting to say, "Oh, just deflect them, and we're not going to go out with the friends, make up something." I thought, "Ah, it's rude towards the friends," but then rereading it, I was like, because the line she then says before is, "Well, say something, well, then go back and say that you can't, or something like that. It should be simple enough." And I was just like, oh my God, like, that is such an insult to him as well. So what if it's not? Don't you think that's a little rude, April, towards your friends? What if it's, don't you think that's a little rude, April, towards me? To say that I'm an idiot and I'm dumb, and it's a challenge for me to go to your friends and make up an excuse, or have to make up an excuse. So that, I was just like, oh my God, that's so cool. Different meanings. Yeah, which then, when you go through the text later on, you then also understand, because there's more hints and more clues, and then that adds up. And I guess that's it as well. Like, the clues add together. And yeah, very, very much looking forward to it, to see what else happens. And yeah, I think I'll leave you with that this week. And we'll see each other soon. Now I'm going to go to bed to see if my baby is still asleep, which I think she is, because I'm going to be up at 2 a.m. to change her diapers. Yay! Have a good night. Bye.